Oftentimes in life, I feel like I'm the only one that looks at things a certain way. And that's the whole reason I'm doing this video, because I kind of wonder, is anybody else looking at this like I am? So that's the question that I'm going to put to you guys here today. And the subject is Kamala Harris's laugh. Now, I want to make sure that everybody knows this post or this video is not political in any way. I don't care who you're voting for. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with speech patterns. There's so many different political speeches going on right now. And I guess since I talk for a living, for lack of a better term, I pay attention to a lot of that. Like when the RNC and the DNC were on a couple of weeks ago, I watched every second of each one of them. And I don't know anybody else who did, as far as my friends go. I think it's me and some radio hosts and some TV guys watched them, so they had fodder to talk about the next day. But even my politically connected friends, I'm like, dude, did you see what happened on the RNC? They're like, no. I said, what about the DNC? They're like, I don't watch that. So anyway, I'm that guy. So that begs the question, what happened to Kamala's laugh, right? Because prior to the DNC, it was all over the place. Every interview, every soundbite, every news clip, every speech that she did, it was full of the laugh. And I think if you are Team Harris, if you like her, it probably didn't bother you. And for the people that didn't like her, you know, they were always talking about it. So, and if you're in the middle, that's where I'm really curious about, is the people that are in the middle and what they thought about it. Did they even notice it? Because when the DNC came on night number one, Kamala Harris comes out and starts giving a speech, and evidently that was a bit of a surprise as far as the broadcasters were saying. I don't think she was planned to do it, or maybe that was all just part of the act. It doesn't matter, but I'm sitting there next to Julie, who I was making her watch it with me. She was so thrilled about it. And I'm like, babe, look, the laugh is gone. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she's not doing it. And that whole night number one, she didn't do it. And I didn't know if there was a guy watching and he had his finger on the mute button or maybe on the fader, and it looked like as soon as she went to go it, he's sliding it down. But I don't even think she got close to doing it. And then fast forward to night number 4 of the DNC, and she gave her much anticipated speech where she was accepting the role or the nomination of President of the United States of America. No laugh. It was amazing. It just disappeared. And I have a prediction on that, right? And again, not political, but I think they knew, somebody in her camp knew how divisive that laugh was. Kind of like the crows behind me, right? Very similar. Anyway, thanks. So nothing like crashing the bit. So I think somebody got to her, and they were in a backroom meeting, and they said, Kamala, sit down. We need to talk about this, right? Look me in the eyes. To quote Al Benesaki, my good friend up in Canada, he said, look in my face. The laugh needs to go. It's polarizing. It's got to go. And I would imagine that at first she was like, it's no big deal. It's fine. And they're like, no. Seriously, you are going to lose the election if you do not get rid of the laugh. It is that bad. And I can see it in the background, right? Where she gets up from the table and she's thinking about it, walking around, and she's asking people, was the laugh that bad? And they're like, yeah, I didn't want to mention it. What about you? What do you think? Yeah, you need to get rid of it. And so collectively, she did. You know, good or bad, I guess, really. But I think it's going to be interesting because as I'm shooting this video, this is the eve of the debate. So it's Monday afternoon. The big debate between her and Trump is tomorrow night. And my other prediction on this is that the speeches on the early and latter part of the DNC, they were written. And if you know anything about written speeches, I mean, every syllable of every word is written out. They know when to stop and pause. They know when to talk about certain things. Hey, make eye contact with you-know-who in the second row. In parentheses, hey, compliment somebody's shirt, right, to connect. It's speech writing 101. And I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out in the debate, where there is supposedly no prep or no notes or anything like that. And Trump's, obviously his whole thing, and we'll do another video on Trump here pretty soon. There's going to be a lot of videos on this channel analyzing different speech patterns. So if that's not your thing, sorry, I love it. And again, I might be the only one that does it. I'll just do this for me and it'll be fine. Trump loves to just fly by the seat of his pants. And Trump gets energized by the people in the front row that are like, yeah, you're the greatest thing ever. And he is like, yeah, I am the greatest thing ever. And let me tell you why. But again, that's another thing, and I love it. And as a live event announcer, I understand feeding from the energy of the people that are in front of you. That's one of my favorite aspects about doing what I do for a living. When you're in a controlled studio situation, it's much different. And that would be, for me, that's the kind of the Truck U thing is much different than being at a wild Trucks Gone Wild party. I love them both dearly, and I'm just very fortunate and happy to be doing them. But it's different. And same thing with the debate thing tomorrow night. I'm going to be very interested to see, because Trump's comfortable thinking on his toes. Harris, I don't know. I'm not that familiar. So will the laugh come back tomorrow night at the debates? That's the big two questions. One, will the laugh come back at the debate? And two, am I the only one that gives a damn about it? Perhaps I am. And you know what? That's fine. But we'll find out, and we'll chat with you guys shortly after that. In the meantime, y'all have a great day. Weather's beautiful here, but it's been raining pretty much every day. So I wanted to get out here and shoot this before the rain comes. So, all right, guys, we'll check in with you later.